does that impact your weight class?
Oh yeah. I mean, do you wear them for weigh-in, or is that like an add-on?
Huh.
Are they measured separately?
Yeah. Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, all
Weighted
accoutrement
separately?
is weighted separately.
Yeah.
If you
I
want to
don't
wear
know.
a luchador mask, they weigh it separate. You want to wear truck nuts, they weigh it separate.
That's how you get away with the steel-plated luchador mask, so you can get headbutts in and really do some damage.
Oh yeah.
This doesn't seem like it's in the spirit of fair play.
The weighing process is messed up.
What is the weight of the props? How does that launch you into a different weight class? Is that a second facet?
You
How
divide
deep
it by
does this go?
2 and then add it onto the weight.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because you gotta be able to calculate the whatever the momentum, what's the momentum, the sideways momentum when you're spinning something. There's a term for that.
Centrifugal.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, you gotta be able to calculate the momentum, right? So like a truck nuts that they could weigh all of 2 pounds themselves, but if you're really spinning them, you're generating maybe like 50 pounds of collision force.
Okay,
and so
hear me
you
out.
gotta factor that into the weigh-in.
Can we put these on like, those retractable leashes that people have for dogs who like run away?
Yeah.
Can we have them on like a bungee so you can like throw long distance
Throw them and then
teabagging?
Long distance teabagging. My favorite new Olympic sport.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big deal for a long time, and then online gaming happened, and suddenly kids are just teabagging over the internet. There's no human connection anymore. They don't understand where their forebears learned how to get distance on it. Yeah. I mean, hear me out, people. Truck nuts, but for people.
Beautiful.
I think we can do it. I think we can make
trademark.
this happen.
Yeah.
Once again, we have an incredible merch idea.
Now, I'm very jealous seeing 2 of you sipping on adult beverages. Do you mind if I run away for 3 of you? If I run away for 3 seconds to get one for myself?
Of course.
Yeah, do it. Run away.
And I'm not coming back.
Yeah. That'll be great. And our guest this week.
First guest abandonment.
Our guest Mike Gravagno said he was going out for cigarettes and he hasn't come back in 22 years. But the podcast's mom says he's going to come back. She swears.
Yeah.
He's
Playing
a
the lottery
hero.
and she knows he's going to come back.
He's fighting in the war because he's a patriot. You're lucky to have him as a father.
Speaking of Patriots, I mean, he's got Captain America's shield on the back wall there.
Shield. There's Cap himself. He's also right here. I wasn't. He's also somewhere on another.
Yeah, I feel like I got
another one.
Screen so I can like.
You're a real weatherman. I like this.
Yeah, I've been practicing. I didn't intend it for it to be such a Marvel fuckfest, but I am what I am.
Yeah. You gotta steer into what works. I mean, it's also it's an endearing set of properties that perhaps stretch thin in recent cinema. Still very quality.
So many people in my life that I go to see these movies with. My wife tapped out after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I thought was the first good one in a long time. And then my neighbor who I go see a bunch with, I was like, Marvel's this weekend? He's like, nah. So I think I'm going to go alone.
That's all right. Fun. I've gone to several.
What's
of them.
the next one?
The Marvels. It comes out on Thursday.
Oh yeah, I kind of want to watch that.
I liked the first one. I thought it got a lot of hate. I also want to go to support because a bunch of douchebag dude trolls are like, it's because she's a woman, it won't do well. And so even if I think in general their stuff hasn't been bad, I'm like, I'm gonna go. And then Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, is a great character. So
I want to see it. I want to know what it's about.
That's true too. I've seen a bunch of trailers. I don't know what's it about at all.
Yeah,
I still can't fucking tell.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
There appear to be 3 of them, and they somehow have power swapped or something where they make each other do things. It's a little bit of a like, it's a little bit of a Wonder Twins inverse situation, kind of.
Every time that one of them uses their powers, they switch not bodies, but
locations.
Yeah,
and it looks That part looks delightful, but I know there's like a big bad, and that's gonna be boring. But
Yeah,
it's fun.
Because it's gonna be like 3 other people who keep switching places, but they're all gonna be just like douchebags who keep trying to tweet about the movie.
Is there a psychic component to one of them? I saw a trailer for this, I don't know, 30 years ago in the movie theater. And how do you strategize if you're just switching places?
That's what we'll learn, I guess.
Yeah.
As they learn it.
I'm going to have to.
I hope that it actually is a thing that's like a meaningful challenge in the movie. And we'll see, obviously, what it is. But if it kind of, because like, the failing of the multiverse of madness sort of thing was that like, hey, we didn't really do much multiversing. And that would have been super interesting. And like, if I can see how it would be very difficult to do well, but it would be cool if they were like, hey, look, here's the enemy. Like they literally just have to fight figuring out how to be themselves without killing each other on accident. That would be cool.
It would be cool if only they were one of the biggest companies in the world and had all the time and money to throw into a movie, but they just don't. They just go to shoestring and they have to rush everything.
That's the thing about these independent studios.
That was the big, for Wonder Woman 1984, the big thing that I wished in retrospect had happened was that they just made the movie about Wonder Woman trying to fight wishing as a concept. And that was it. Like
wishing?
Yeah, because Pedro Pascal's character in that movie gets the ability to like grant everybody's wishes, and sort of part of the crescendo of that movie is
he becomes a genie, kind of. Yeah,
he becomes a genie, and so he basically like goes on TV and tells everybody to make a wish. And what could be a compelling, huge arc of like, hey, a bunch of people wish for wonderful things like world peace, and a bunch of people wish for horrible, selfish things. They just sort of cash all those chips in and don't bother with it. And I think it would be so cool if it's like Wonder Woman, who is supremely capable of doing all sorts of things, doesn't have something to punch, and instead has to figure out how do you deal with a world where everybody is taking it off the rails in their own way. Like that would be so different and subversive for a superhero thing.
There's a book I just heard about called 8 Billion Genies. And everybody alive right then gets a wish, but that's all you get. And it's just each section is like 8 minutes after that happens, 8 hours after that happens, 8 years, 800 years. And so people like hold on to their wish, and it's passed on to like grandchildren and stuff like that.
Whoa, you can inherit wishes?
Yeah.
So could you hoard like dozens of wishes on like a long enough lineage tree?
No, it's everybody who's alive in this period of time gets a wish.
So you just have a legacy
so you
wish.
Only
if
inherit
you're born, you don't get a wish.
Okay, I see.
Unless your ancestors didn't use their wish.
No, but that's what I'm asking. Like, what if like both of my sets of grandparents didn't use their wish, and both of theirs?
I don't know.
Do I get them all?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Having only heard about it and not read it yet, I can't answer.
Well,
what if?
I'm sorry, that's a failing of mine.
What if you're married and you both have a wish, and only one of you uses it, and then you get divorced? Do you each get half a wish? Based on
it depends
like,
on the prenup.
Yeah. Is there a wish prenup?
I think it depends.
How do you divide a wish? Does it become like, what is it? Like Gift of the Magi, where you like want something, where it's like a trick, or is it the monkey one? What am I talking about?
It's always tricks. It's always tricks.
All the
monkey's paw
tricks.
Is like, ha ha ha. You wished for a thing, but I did a funny pun and gave you a different thing. It's a real if Nate was a genie.
Absolutely.
And then the Gift of the Magi is
I cut off my hair to afford a gift for you, and I
bought me hair accessories.
An ivory comb.
I bought Nate container for all of his little teeth. And
oh God.
He gave away his teeth to get me a barrette for all of the hair that I cut off.
Yeah, no, it would be look, here's what it would be, Kelly. You would get me a really nice display, like a grandstand display for all of my teeth. But I would
curio cabinet.
But I would be like, I need to get you a really cool taxidermy animal, and I'm going to put all of the teeth I have in that taxidermy animal, and I give that to you, and then nothing works. But we both get something we need.
I would like to say that those gifts are not equivalent. The curio cabinet is incredible, and if you give me a taxidermied animal full of teeth you've stolen, I will not be happy.
Well, the teeth are in its mouth. It's like a smiling.
Horrible.
Oh wait, so they're all
fox.
in the mouth? I thought it would just be like an entire.
Yeah, I thought it was
Like a
made of
fucking-
teeth, right?
Yeah.
No,
Cheshire
that's
cat. I was imagining
guys. This is you're being very weird. I don't understand.
I was
why you
imagining
think
it was
that.
Yes,
stuffed
we're
with
the
the
weird.
teeth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
like a
just-
secret only you
like
know
it's
about.
like
So you
just
can
really
You're
crinkly.
like, is this
Yeah.
a beanbag? What's
It's
in
a
it?
tooth
worst
maraca.
stuffed animal.
Oh, gross.
Ahoy, listeners! This is
Oh, boy.
Debut Buddies. This is a fortnightly podcast about firsts, and I'm Nate. I'm one of the buddies.
I'm Kelly. I'm an additional buddy.
I'm Chelsea. I'm the third buddy.
And this week
Oh, we got another buddy.
we do. We've got a special guest buddy who I will introduce in a second, because all four of us on the pod today are a bunch of little Bonnie Tylers, because we're holding out for a hero, a superhero, and in fact, the first superhero. That's what we're going to talk about, the first superhero. And we have a wonderful guest. He's on a podcast called Movie of the Year, as well as another podcast called The Superhero Show. And he was also on an OC podcast whose name escapes me. He's going to tell me what it is. It's Mike Gravagno. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I was called the what was it called? The OCD. I've guested. Sorry, I've guested on another OC podcast quite a lot and much more recently in life. And I was about to say there. I mean, you could go watch or listen to Welcome to the OC Bitches. That I've guested on a bunch. They are great. It's two of the actresses from the show.
Oh, that's right. It's yeah. What's her face? And the other one.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
good.
they're my good friends, Mindy and Rachel, so it's offensive you don't remember the names, but that's fine.
And is that like a phrase from the show or?
Yeah, in the
okay.
pilot, because so there's a new. We could talk about the pilot of the OC instead of
Yeah.
superheroes. In the pilot, a bit of a superhero himself. Ryan Atwood shows up from the wrong side of the tracks in the OC, and one of the big water polo
Gotcha.
guys punches him and says, "Welcome to the OC,
Welcome to the
bitch."
OC.
Yeah.
Sure. Of course he does. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Doing a
Thank you.
real Will Smith. Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
Bitches.
And you punch an alien in the face.
Could have punched up
so
the
good.
script, throwing in a bitches at the end of that welcome.
There was an era where we were casually tossing
Oh.
bitch around as a thing.
A lot.
I'm
Mhm.
still trying to exercise it from my vocabulary.
I'm so bad at it. I use it all the time.
I know it's a good word. I tried to say trick instead. I don't think it's actually
Oh.
better, but I don't know. The bitch
It's
has
different.
such a good weight to it.
I know.
Yeah.
I think I recently had my first time where I ended a sentence with bitch and I immediately like it came out of my mouth weird. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
am I not doing this anymore?
Did a puka shell necklace just appear around?
It's really either that or
I
a
just pull it
striped
out.
sweater and a claw hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Freddy.
I will do a who's this bitch respectfully.
Mm.
That bitch respectfully looks great, but it's clunkier. It's clunkier. So
Tone matters, yeah, and context.
right. Also, I'm taking it back. Can I take it back? Is it too soon to take it back?
No, I'd say
Does have
take it
to
back.
Rest?
I think
Thanks.
it's easier
Thank you.
for you to take it back than like me, a white dude, to take it back. you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah.
you can't take it back. I have to take it
I
back
can't be a
first,
bitch.
and then no, well, you can,
Yeah.
but you have to be granted in by
by the bitches.
by the bitches. Yeah, I was
Respectfully.
trying to respectfully. Yeah, you get it. You're in.
Yes.
Well, that was the quickest resolution.
I feel like I got called enough words growing up that I'm like, am I not allowed to say that? It got thrown in my face a lot. But it's clearly I'm not
Yeah.
actually comfortable because I'm not even saying what the letter might start with of that word.
And he's going for the big one.
Oh, shit.
No, I was just, let's say I was a very effeminate young boy growing up in very
Yeah.
conservative Orange County, California. So there's a word that starts with an F that called in my face a lot. So I'm like, I feel like I should be able to own it.
That's a complicated one.
Nate, this is off the rails, my friend.
Yeah, you know what another word is that starts with an F? First. As in for
Hey!
superhero.
No.
I thought you were going to say Firo, and I was like, okay, we're going.
Yeah.
We're just going to throw that in there.
works.
Everything's fine. We're doing great. So yeah, we have this wonderful guest, Mike Gravagno, who you are a superheroologist, I believe, is the
Got my
scientific
doctorate.
title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
9 years of school and 3 years of what's it called when
Residency.
residency.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now unfortunately all that means is I can teach, which sucks because academia is horseshit, and so that's what I'm doing, is teaching about superheroes in all the ways I can.
Yeah, it is. I sat in on one of your lectures once, and it was kind of sad that you were like, and this is how you would rescue this person who's dying. Of course, we're not going to do it now. We're going to watch
Right.
them die, but
An
let's
example.
talk about the practicum for
It
this.
is unfortunate because like if you're like you study and you're surrounded by the pedagogy for years, the people who are out in the real world doing it look down upon you. The
Right.
real practical application and the academia of superheroism are at odds.
Sure. Yeah. Coming down from your fortress of solitude to
Mhm.
tell people how to do some rescuing.
Yeah, I met Phoenix
But you don't
Jones in Seattle
understand.
once, and he was a jerk.
Oh, yeah. hmm Well, that's what I've heard, that he
He's
is pretty.
For those of you who don't know, he's a real superhero.
Yeah.
We need
I
to
come from Seattle,
We
so
need to get him
I
on
have...
let's get him on.
nice.
No, we do
let's
not.
call him.
No, it's
No?
fine.
Okay.
I think he went to jail.
What?
At some
Somebody
point-
who's super into vigilante justice went to jail?
But it wasn't for beating someone up, which I hear
For
he
the-
does very often. It was for selling drugs.
Well,
Oh.
You got a
Alright.
side hustle.
Yeah,
I mean, Not all
Seattle's
heroes
expensive.
wear capes, etc.
First of all, did he wear a cape?
He wore a suit.
It was like
Okay.
it looked metallic, like big and
Mhm.
beefy. It's been a long time since I've seen pictures of him.
It's like black and blue.
Cute.
It was cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
There was a lot of effort put into it. And he,
I thought for sure that he would have been gotten for tax evasion, because isn't that how we get
Everybody.
that
It's
should
the
have been
one
gotten
law
for
we sort of
something
care
else?
about sometimes.
Right, exactly. Well, it's the most paper traily one, so I think it's just easy
Facts.
to nab. But do you think that those drugs were planted? Do you think he was framed? Wow.
oh,
That's
it's orange.
incredible.
Look at me. That was bad. Does he have a blue version? What am
No,
I picturing?
I think that was
right now?
orange from the light, right? If I'm
Yeah,
Okay, I
it's
hope
like
so, 'cause I
yellow
feel
and
like,
black from what I can see.
Okay,
Or like
I
gold
am
and black.
picturing someone.
kind of biting off a Batman.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
that
definitely.
dress from a few years ago all over again.
Which
No, I
one-
can
which-
admit that I'm wrong visually on that.
Oh, those were good times, right? When we could just argue about colors of dresses and what sound we were hearing.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Laurel.
the sound one.
Yeah, it was good. It was
What
good.
were those? What were the words?
Laurel and Yanni.
Oh, Laurel
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yanni. I was thinking
Mhm.
of the Barbie one, which is like,
What?
fuck. Barbie.
What?
Fuck. It's something ludicrous like that. Like one of them is like a swear and the other is like Skipper. Like I can't remember what we're
Okay.
hearing. Yeah, Laurel Yanni.
Okay, actually, no, I'm not going to Google fuck Barbie. I think that's going to lead
No,
us.
Yeah,
don't
don't do
Google
that.
I'll find it
We're gonna-
later.
I'm going to hold off. So let's talk about superheroes. I want to just high level. Chelsea, what's your relationship to superheroes?
I haven't personally met one yet. I
It's
should
so
have been
time.
prepared for this question because it's obvious that it would be asked, but I'm not. I mean, I watch a lot of superhero movies. I read some comics. And I really liked the show Marvel's Agents of Shield
Nice.
and was really into that.
Who's your favorite?
So we're gonna say that's the extent. Quake.
What's his deal? Her deal?
Her.
What's their deal?
She's like seismic and can make earthquakes happen.
Oh, what?
She tears
what on
apart the
scale?
earth.
What's the like Richter scale? Is it Richter?
She can
Uh,
tear apart the earth. in
Yeah.
half.
Oh,
She can tear apart the
For
earth in
at
half.
what radius? Whole Earth?
Dude, I don't.
The whole
What
earth.
the fuck are you?
Whole Earth. Mm.
They had to deal with that in one. She's like the world destroyer. They're in the future. It gets complicated.
Mhm.
Her real name's
Oh,
Daisy
no.
Johnson, played by
Mhm.
Chloe Bennett, who's amazing and just the sweetest person in the world. I have a sweatshirt with her on it. Daisy
Yeah.
or Chloe, not the character. I'm a fan.
Nice.
So is that one of the multiverses, or in that comic is
probably.
Earth just gone now?
Everything's multiversal.
Yeah. The secret to comic books is that every like 4 years they completely can reboot anything that they want to, depending. I mean, that's what DC did a lot. Was just like, oh, everything's a new thing, and all the people that you thought were dying or dead or turning into something else, oh, they're back. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Or here's this guy's cousin is now that guy, and don't worry about it. It's great. It's great.
Oh, I did recently watch. Oh no, now I'm gonna not have the name right. Is it Doom? That was a DC
Doom Patrol
cartoon. No, it's just called Doom, and it's like where Batman has made a contingency plan to kill all of the Justice League.
Yeah.
And then, that was pretty good. Recommend that. I think it's on
dope.
HBO. Maybe Prime. I don't know. Just watch.
Yeah, HBO has all of the DC cartoons.
Okay, that's probably it. Yeah, just watched that recently. It was pretty fun.
And that storyline from comics, and I think like so many of the cartoons through the years have done versions of it. So this is this a new one?
No, this is one that came out 10, 15 years ago.
Nice.
Quite some time ago, but I just watched it recently.
It really pushes Batman's paranoia.
Oh yeah.
Is that one of his things?
I mean, he's he's a nuts man.
Yeah.
He's big paranoid. He's a big
his parents got killed, and he devoted his entire life to beating up.
Yeah. Imagine
punks.
Something happened to you when you're like under 10. Sure, it was a big deal, but then you went, well, this is my whole life from now on. You're not a normal person.
No, I did do that, but then I went to therapy. Can we not get Batman into therapy?
Well, he tried, but the therapists he's met are like Scarecrow. So he's like, this is not going to work out for me.
It's either Scarecrow or Chase Meridian, who just wants to fuck him the whole time.
So all therapists want to kill or fuck Batman.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to try. You have to try a couple, and then you'll find one.
That's true.
It's true.
Because most of mine I've gone through have tried to either fuck or kill me. So it does take a while.
So are you Batman? Take off those glasses.
I can't say. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Half a White Claw.
I'm the lightest of weights.
Kelly, superheroes. What's your relationship? Anything at all?
Oh, I ask a lot of questions. No, not really. I saw the Batmans from the era during which I would have seen the Batmans.
Christopher Nolan.
Christian Bale. Yeah.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan ones.
And the best Batman.
Oh, of course, Val Kilmer. Yeah, obviously. Okay. Obviously. I didn't think it needed to be said. You know what? I might be able to go find my signed Val Kilmer as Batman headshot.
Nice.
I was thinking about it, and I'm reasonably sure that the last Marvel movie I saw was Iron Man 2. Okay. Wait, is that the one where he has panic attacks?
Oh, that's 3.
Yeah. That's 3. Okay, I think that was the last one I
Underrated.
saw.
I love 3.
Really
Directed
good movie.
by
Really
Shane Black, who also did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
KKBB.
Exactly. The Nice
Sorry,
Guys.
I'm just gonna keep dropping.
Can't believe. You know what? I must have known that, and I must have just been like Shane Black, Robert.
There's
Downey
a chance
Jr.,
that I made you watch that because of that.
I do think we went together. No, I don't. I don't have a ton of I guess interest in it. My apologies.
That's wild. Like, how do you feel every hour of your day then? Because Nate hasn't gotten to me, so I won't answer yet. But I'm just. But what else is there if not superheroes?
I do a lot of true crime and like ghost and
Gotcha.
You know what? Hold on. He teed that up so well. Horror movies. If you're interested in talking more about horror movies, you can find me and Chelsea over on our other podcast, Never Show the Monster. Tune in.
Oh god. Is there a superhero horror movie?
Oh yeah.
We did Spawn.
We did Spawn.
Brightburn came out a couple years ago. It was like evil Superman. I didn't see it.
But what's the premise? You said.
What if Superman was evil? It's every hack for the last 30 years is like, okay, so you know how Superman's always good? What if he wasn't? And then a few years later, somebody acts like it's their new brand idea. No, do you know what's actually very interesting now? What if he's just a good guy who has a lot of power?
Yeah. Yeah. What if he's someone to aspire to be instead of a reflection of our nightmare reality? Yeah, Brightburn's interesting because it's basically like the origin story of Superman. So what if the family who gets a little kid from space and that little kid decides to be like a murder boy? And that's
we're doing like we're essentially doing like the thought exercise about baby Hitler, but in the opposite direction.
Yeah. It's like the good son. If the good Macaulay Culkin and the good son had Superman's powers.
Got it. Okay.
But wasn't Elijah Wood the actual bad son and the good son? Isn't that
I don't remember. I don't think
spoilers.
so.
No,
Spoilers.
that was not.
A twist.
No, it was still Macaulay, right?
Okay.
I think I saw it when I was like 7, but I'm pretty sure there was no twist. It was like, oh, the one who seems bad. Yeah, he's
definitely bad.
Superhero wise, like I read comic books when I was younger. I spent some time this last spring going to the comic book shop here and picking up some like collected volumes of old X-Men stuff. So I have like the first 10 issues of X-Men to read through, as well as the Days of Future Past story arc, which are both fun to have. Huge fan of Watchmen as a postmodernist deconstruction of what superheroism is conceptually for culture. I always think it's interesting when there are sort of superhero elements added to things. And yeah, I've been like a huge Marvel kind of fan throughout the entirety of the cinematic universe. And I've actually like, I've watched all the DC movies other than I haven't seen Blue Beetle yet, but I've seen all of the DC movies, and, for better or worse, like I can criticize all of them from a sort of cinema quality standpoint, but there's also a point where it's like it did the whiz bangs where I wanted the whiz bangs, and it was kind of fun. Like, I don't know. It's its own genre, and it's like if you want a fairly well-crafted pop song, most of them are that equivalent. It's just whether or not you ever want to listen to it again or not, right? Like,
but that's like a well-crafted pop song with like a 40-minute bridge that's real muddy and gray and overly up its own ass, I'd say, is a lot of those.
Yeah. I did watch I watched the entirety of the Snyder Cut.
Dude.
Because I was really interested, and honestly, like, we don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but the 4-hour version of the movie is the best version of the movie, and that doesn't mean that that's an okay thing to have a 4-hour long movie, but it's clearly the only way that whole thing was going to come together, and it kind of does. So great. I don't ever want to see it again, but it's there.
Yeah.
Okay. I have 2 questions. One, who is Snyder, and why do we have a separate cut? I mean, I know director, right? But like, did we swap out directors, or is this just normally a director's cut and we're calling it a fancy thing?
So Zack Snyder, who is like crafting the whole DC cinematic universe back in the day, because he no longer is. He was either directing everything or helping produce all the other ones, right? And so the Justice League is what it was sort of building to. And partway through making it, one of his kids killed themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yikes.
so he was like, hey, I'm going to take care of my family.
Good.
And they brought in Joss Whedon because he had some success with the Avengers movies. And tonally, they're 2 very different guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The one you'd think is a douchebag based on watching their stuff actually seems like a decent guy, and the one who didn't seem like a monster really is. And so, it was tonally all over the place. And a lot of movies have reshoots, but it was like Joss seemed to not care about what Snyder was doing. Also, as a very not Snyder fan, neither version is a good version. But so the Snyder cut, it was like right before, it was during the pandemic. I think they gave him like $30 million more to finish his version of the movie. So it was crazy. And
this was after a huge outpouring of
years,
like Twitter people, just people for years hashtagging like release the Snyder Cut. The same people who are probably decrying the Marvels as unwatchable because women are in it were out there saying you've got to let Zack release the version of the movie he wanted, because we live in an era where everybody feels like there's some sort of hidden greatness that we're just not being exposed to. So if only they would expose us to it.
There was a lot of controversy though around, I can't remember the actor, the one who played Cyborg. He said that all of his characters' storylines.
Yeah,
were, like,
Joss Whedon
Joss
did
Whedon,
that. Yeah.
and like ruined everything. And Zack Snyder did a really good job with his storyline. Like his storyline made sense when it didn't make sense in Joss Whedon's version.
Yeah, I think taking a 4-hour
That's
movie
true. That
down
is very
to,
true.
a still pretty lengthy, like 2-hour plus. I think you're going to cut a lot of things.
Yeah, but add in a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
Quote in quotes, jokes.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my question. So it sounds like we had Snyder, I don't want to say cut. We had the Snyder scenes shot.
Right.
Mhm.
And then Whedon came in and we did reshoots.
Mm-hmm.
And then Snyder got 30 mil more. Did he
Some
do
millions and millions
additional
more. And he did
reshoots?
additional reshoots.
Wow.
Reshoots.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, who edited that?
This movie
God
got
bless.
made like 3 times.
Well, that
Yeah.
explains why it's so long. Okay. Okay.
I mean, everybody wants money, so what are you gonna do?
Sure. Boy, that's also funny that there was like a Twitter campaign to get the Snyder cut because so many of Whedon's shows were canceled, and then there were online campaigns
Yeah.
to get them back. Looking at you,
Mhm.
Dollhouse.
Yep.
The
Naked
only
Firefly.
successful one.
Mhm.
I
There
love
was
Dollhouse.
a campaign for Firefly, but I don't think that it extended them at all. Maybe it got them the movie. Yeah, I
Mhm.
also love Dollhouse, and I just rewatched it.
Hold up or
maybe
no?
2 years ago. I loved it. I still loved it. I'm giving it 10 out of 10. Holds up. But I also like bad things. So grain of salt. But Nate, who's your favorite?
Oh yeah.
My favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
I really like Iron Man for a lot of reasons. But I think like generally the X-Men are my favorite, which is probably just
Yeah.
because the X-Men cartoon was on in the 90s when I was a kid and I got so like soaked into that. It is one of the things that I like. I need something to watch for the last half hour between stopping doing a thing and going to bed is pop on Disney
Oh.
Plus and watch X-Men. Yeah.
I'm holding up these. They look like VHSs of the X-Men cartoon, but they're actually the boxes that action figures of Wolverine and Jubilee came in.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Such a good
Nice.
yeah.
The patent didn't talk about visual things.
You described it for the listener.
That's
true.
beautiful.
It's
This is theater. It's a radio show.
And I think our
essentially.
listeners are smart enough to know what a box looks like. They're
A
familiar with the
VHS box.
concept.
Look it up, kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
all you Zoomers.
Yeah. So
Are we
yeah.
pulling any Gen Alpha? Could we like some 12-year-olds in there? I don't know. How
Oh
old are they
man,
now?
I hope
Yeah,
not because this
no.
is marked explicit, so they shouldn't be
Oh,
pulling.
okay.
They shouldn't
Well,
be
Hey,
pulling
kids,
this.
go
I
the fuck to
mean-
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
go
are you
the
doing?
fuck to sleep.
Yeah.
hmm
Oh man, and we were
They're
just
like, it's 6:30
roasting
a.m. I
kids.
can't. I'm about to go to school.
This is not the energy to start your mornings off, kids. This is not.
No. You need some crunch berries and
No,
orange
you need
juice.
protein, no sugar. You're
Is
just
milk
telling the
straight
kids to
milk?
consume straight sugar, Nate.
Whoa. Well, it's because he is waiting for their little teeth to fall out. So
Oh,
they're
you're the
grabbing-
teeth
Okay,
thing.
look. Hey, I don't want to. Let's not reveal my supervillain plan right away, right up top. Let's instead talk about Mike and his relation to superheroes.
So I did get excited and interrupt you, and I'm sorry, Nate. Showing up X-Men, that it changed my life. I literally remember flipping through the channels. I did not have a remote growing up. I was 5, and X-Men, the pilot was on, and I was just like, well, this is what I'm into from now on.
Nice.
And it hooked me hard. And yeah, X-Men was my shit. And then expanded into comics and Spider-Man and reading. And then, yeah, the Batman, the Keaton Batmans and all of them. And now I've devoted most of my adult life because Superhero Show just hit 505 episodes, I think, the week we're recording. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'd say I'm a bit into superheroes.
Just casually.
Just casually.
casually.
I have an iPad. It's just so I can read comic books because I have the Marvel Unlimited app. So yeah, I'm super into it.
So, okay,
Yeah.
so the X-Men cartoon got you into it?
Yeah.
Do you remember what drew you to it when you were 5 flipping through channels, no remote?
It was bright. So it was like 2 inches from the TV. It was super bright. And then, it was Jubilee running through the mall in her fly, like plastic vinyl yellow jacket and pink shades. And she said dope things like, does a mall baby eat chili fries? And I was 5. I'm like, yeah, I want to be a mall baby who eats chili fries.
I think so,
someday.
probably, yeah.
And then these like 3 stories tall pink and purple robots came in shooting. And then these badass chicks who could like fly and control the weather. And I was just like, all of this. This is all up my alley.
Yeah.
Nice.
The first few episodes of that too are so interestingly, like, they're emotionally wrought for a kid because they introduce a character named Morph, who is this like wisecracking. He can transform into anybody. He's a shapeshifter, and he seems to be like, oh, this is a comedy relief guy for this entire series. And then he is fucking killed almost immediately by those giant robots.
Yeah. And I do think that's the not just superheroes, but like I like stuff where main characters can die. In books and movies and everything. I realize there are other stakes in fiction, but I am a sucker for like, oh, you think this is a main character? They're dead. Which, you know what? Like real life.
No, exactly. I like the same thing, partly because for me it goes into like rules, like fantasy. I love reading fantasy, but there has to be a strong rule system. If you're like, and also we brought them back from the dead because you're just learning now, that's part of it. I hate that. No, establish the rules and then we operate within the rules. But I just remembered something you said. You caught the X-Men pilot? Is that what you said? When it like the day that
it was the
premiered?
first, like it was just a confluence of energy, like the universe knew
that's
what I needed to be.
Yeah, it did. Wow, that's perfect. Congrats.
That was this period of time when like Fox Kids existed, where the terrestrial air would show cartoons that were actually interesting and good. Like also Batman the Animated Series, which is another thing that was hugely influential for me. Mark Hamill's Joker, probably one of the best Jokers ever there have been.
The best. And I have Harley Quinn tattooed on my leg. So yeah. From that show.
Mr. J.
Oh boy.
So good. And I rewatched the Keaton Batmans just a few pretty much over the last few days.
Nice.
Batman Returns remains maybe my favorite Batman movie.
Amazing Christmas movie.
It's just so interesting. And it's
weird
to kind of the therapy thing that we were discussing earlier as a tangent. Like that movie does such a good job of steering you into the lane of like, if Batman and Catwoman could just get together, they could possibly be the best thing for each other. And yet they can never sort it out.
So the one where Michelle Pfeiffer uses the whip, is that the Keaton Batman?
That's Batman Returns. Yep.
Yeah, that's the second Keaton Batman.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And Danny DeVito bites the guy's nose off, and
that's like the
walks
one
around eating a raw
movie that
fish.
I remember.
That's one of those things where how prescient, because at the time it's like, isn't this so cartoonish that such a disgusting troll could become a huge political figure? And then did we do it on a presidential level later?
And then But the good news about that is the penguins on set were so happy that they mated. There were a lot of penguin babies that came out of that movie.
Amazing.
That's adorable.
That's the cutest fun fact I've ever heard.
And they only do that if they're being treated really well. Like, yay, good job, you guys.
Yeah.
Tim Burton?
That's awesome. Yeah, Tim Burton. He's got to be.
I know stuff.
Yeah, you're all over it. This is great.
I guess I have a question. How do you define a superhero? Who is a superhero? And here's why I'm asking. Because as you were describing giant robots, I was like, I did really love Gundam Wing. Are they superheroes?
Arguably, I think so. I think like some people are pedantic about it and are like they have to have superpowers. No, Batman's a superhero.
Clearly
freaks.
not. Yeah.
He is a superhero. I think there's a lot of vigilantes who are superheroes. I think the way I like to define it, because even though there are demigods from mythos who have now become superheroes, your Thors, I don't count Hercules. Like I don't count actual demigods from mythology. I think secret identity is like, if you have to draw your fine lines, mine is, I do think the secret identity thing, and then we could talk about the Fantastic Four. That's fine. Like the rules will be broken, but I think especially because they're like throughout the history of human storytelling, there's people with powers, but Coyote from Native American myths is not a superhero, right? Just because he is a person with powers.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is it related to like the mission? Actually, maybe this would help me. Explain Thor to me and when the crossover happened, and is he still both? Does he like Monday through Wednesday, I'm a demigod.
Well,
throughout the weekend, I get to be superhero. Like what?
Yeah, Marvel in the 60s when Thor like showed up because they're like, well, that's free reign to use. What's that called? Public
domain.
Thank you. Yeah. He did have a secret identity, Dr. Donald Blake, and he would use it. Sometimes he knew he could become Thor, and sometimes there were two distinct personalities. But I feel like for the last 30 years, they got rid of the persona, and he's just like, I'm Thor, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, own it. Do the X-Men have secret identities?
Yeah. Often, because mutants are hated.
I see.
They go out in their normal street clothes with their normal human names.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't really hide who their names are. I mean, they're in costume as like Scott Summers is Cyclops, but it seems like a lot of people know that Scott Summers and Cyclops are interchangeable to an extent.
Yeah, depending on what version of the cartoon,
Context.
what era of the comic, what they play fast and loose with the thing I decided is the definite. I just think if we're talking about where it started, because there's so many pulp heroes, and if you can't get like real finicky about this, what can you get finicky about?
Yeah. Well, and it seems it's a
question.
semi-arbitrary designation, right? Because it is just like, who are we saying is this? Because like, I mean, Thor is a Marvel superhero. Hercules also actually a Marvel superhero, at least in the Brett Goldstein version.
I think of him as, and I love Hercules in the comics, but like, again, that's a different character to me than, I just meant like Greek mythology, Perseus, Hercules, Achilles. They're not superheroes.
No.
None of these guys helping.
That's what I was asking earlier about motivation. Like, do you have to have the goal of doing good and helping people and saving people in order to be a superhero?
I think
otherwise,
so.
are you super villain?
Or at least the goal of being wrangled into that, right? Because a lot of superheroes are galvanized by someone, right? Like the X-Men have Charles Xavier to make someone like Logan, who isn't really going to be a superhero necessarily, but he'll be one with the X-Men as Wolverine, even though he had previously done all kinds of dirty shit in Vietnam and World War II and everything else, because he's lived for hundreds of years.
Vampires. Superhero? Yes, no. Cape?
Some can be.
Blade is a superhero who's a vampire.
Yeah, Blade,
he's
obviously.
Obviously. He's the Daywalker.
Yeah. Dr. Michael Morbius, also
Morbius.
Oh my god,
Morbius,
an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Was he anti-hero? The only thing I know about Morbius is that we fooled the studio into bringing it back to the theater because they don't understand the internet.
Yeah, that movie was trash. In the comics, he becomes an anti-hero.
So he started as normal hero, and then
no. He started as villain, and then
I see.
Mellows out. Stop being angry.
Begrudgingly. Okay. So what about like Good Omens? Have you read that book?
I have. I don't know. I think that they're like big mystical beings, right? It's an angel and a demon, if I remember correctly, but they're not like, to me, a hero is trying to help the little people. They're trying to like, oh, I'm going to take this cat out of this tree. Oh, I'm going to stop this mugger. Oh, I'm going to stop this person who's dressed like a clown who took the mayor hostage. Like, they're doing the small work, which is like going back to why like not just secret identity, but like pulp heroes, which are cool in their own right. Why I think they're different. Like Doc Savage rather. Doc Savage isn't trying to help anybody. He's like an Indiana Jones adventurer. He's going on his own adventures and runs into danger, but he's not a hero trying to help innocents.
Right.
Yeah. The reason I was curious about Good Omens is because sometimes they do help the little person, but in service of their other goals. So
and like I guess
intention? Do we have to weigh intention?
Intention, or like for me, anytime if religion comes in, I'm like, I don't know, that's its own thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jesus. Do
you want to talk about the first superhero?
I do. That was my question earlier, and Nate walked over me.
Aw.
Who even is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
who's the first superhero?
Who is the first superhero, Mike?
Who?
Tell us who you believe it is.
There's schools of thought, and then I'm going to tell you what I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the easiest answer is Superman, 1938.
Yeah.
Comes out, Action Comics, #1, and there was a version of a different character called Superman a few years before that. We don't need to talk about that. But so Superman, Clark Kent, where's the S? Who you're thinking of? That's 1938. 1936, and this is according to Guinness World Records, so it's not just me. They say the first official superhero is Phantom, who's this boss guy who wears an all-purple leotard and has a skull on his ring. And he has the secret identity thing. I think
he protects the jungle, I believe. He's a
he's
an environmentalist?
He's a white savior. He's a white guy who protects Africa.
Oh. Okay,
So-
well, at least he's trying to help.
He is in a lineage of those. Like his father was a Phantom before him.
Yeah, it's a
Oh.
lineage
Yeah.
thing for sure.
Wait, so do they take over the name, or was his father called something else? Okay.
No, his father's the Phantom.
So this is like the Dread Pirate Roberts. Got it. Okay.
Red Pirate Roberts, the Black Panther. It's
That's
a
what I was going to
mantle.
say, Black Panther.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
The one I think is no, I'll go even further back. Some you could argue, but this
Ooh.
isn't comic books, it's just books, is the Scarlet Pimpernel, 1903.
Yeah.
Baroness Emma Orgsy wrote this, and she's like, trapped. She's a woman, early 20th century. She's like, this is bullshit. What if, and it was like a way to escape her character. It was a rich dude who would put on a mask and help people because that's what she wanted to do. She is
Aw.
boss. Scarlet Pimpernel's awesome. But it's books. So fuck that, right? We want panels.
Hey, also, I'm going to say Scarlet Pimpernel's whole superhero thing is saving French aristocrats from the French Revolution. So
No.
people who are
So
going to
he's
be
a villain.
beheaded.
No.
I didn't realize that.
So there's
no.
there's
Okay.
a little
Absolutely no
ACAB
thank
in there.
you.
Yeah.
Boo, that's more than a little.
Ugh.
Boo.
But notoriously and delightfully portrayed by Daffy Duck in some early Looney Tunes, where he is the Scarlet Pimpernel,
Okay.
but called the Scarlet Pumpernickel.
And that's I always almost say that. Thank you. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
Wait,
and then-
okay, so
yeah.
format is part of this too. You said no books. You want
No,
panels.
I mean, again, I think mode and medium go together a lot, and this is where like I think superhero tropes, some of them existed right in the myths we talked about and the Scarlet Pimpernel, but like things start to get solidified in serialized panel storytelling forms. And that's why I think the Shadow is forgotten often. I think because his serialized radio show, but who knows what darkness hides in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
Okay.
Played by Alec
1930.
Baldwin in the movie.
Which I just learned existed. I want to go watch that.
Oh my God, I saw that movie in the theater.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you think it holds up?
I do not. But what I will tell you is it has the dagger that is the villain in that movie, because the villain of that movie is a dagger.
Love that.
Like an inanimate object dagger?
Yeah. It's got a
Cool,
face.
okay.
It's the same dagger from Big Trouble in Little China, I believe. Like the
Awesome.
same prop.
Wow.
Oh,
Great.
cool.
Great stuff.
Okay.
It's great stuff.
Is this like in Moulin Rouge when John Leguizamo plays the sitar? Like, I'm just trying
Aw.
to envision how an
Like
inanimate
dressed as it?
object
Yeah.
can be the antagonist.
It's like a magical dagger that spins around and tries to stab Alec Baldwin.
and
But is there like anybody controlling it? How do you get motivation from it? Just based on who it's trying to stab?
And like you're in
Yes.
fantasy, you're into fantasy, right? So you can grab the wrong sword and it eats its way into your brain and makes you kill people.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to touch it. So it can't like. But
I mean,
then
I
why can't
remember
you
it
just, like,
flying
put it in
on
a
its
room
So
own.
it
and
looks
close
like
the
a
door?
normal dagger. It's like a normal looking dagger. It's not
I'm
like
getting.
wait, it has
hung
a
up on
face.
this.
You said it had a face, right? Or did I just pick
On
it
its
up?
pommel, right?
Yeah. I remember it having a
okay.
face. Yeah.
Oh.
Which one is this? Will you say it again?
Oh,
The
What are
Shadow.
we talking about? The
The
Shadow.
Shadow.
Oh
The
yeah, that's why we're
Shadow.
talking about the Shadow of the movie. Shadow was a radio serial in 1930, and in 1931 they're like, "Hey, let's expand this IP." I don't think they had that language or concept then yet, but that's what they wanted to
They
do.
made a cinematic universe.
And then they're like, I bet kids want to read too. And then they spun him out into that. And that's why I think the Shadow, and just because it's fun because he's a little less known than Superman or the Phantom. But that's mine from now on.
Okay.
Who was the one who is he the one that inspired Batman? Who inspired Batman? Was it the
Zorro.
Shadow? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Because he saw Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones, that movie, and then right after his pants were killed in front of him, and then became Batman. If you're in the Robert Pattinson timeline.
Yeah. Man, what a great movie that was, Mom and Dad.
When did the first... Do we know what the canon is that the movie was in the comic books?
I think so. It's the something of Zorro, but they're all the Zorro things are
okay.
called the blank of Zorro, so I can never remember.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it is Zorro.
It was Zorro
in the
yeah.
comics as well. Okay.
And that's why he's like a mask. He's like, okay, I know masks are cool, and I know I'm scared of bats. This is what I'm gonna do.
That's enough. That's enough. Wait. Okay. So this is your confirmed first. The Shadow is your first superhero.
And what year was this?
1931. The character was created in the 30s, radio serial at 31, hit the pages, and that's what I'm planting my flag.
Can those radio shows be found? Have you listened to them?
I have. As a kid, a bunch, actually. Again, I was very cool. I had a TV with 3 channels and no remote, and I listened to the Shadow radio show. I had a friend who every year for his birthday, he'd do a sleepover, and his dad had all the old Batman, all the old Shadow. The 90s were weird. I do think if you're under a certain tax bracket, you are decades behind, sometimes even more than you think.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true.
Yeah, agreed.
Did you watch 60s Batman, Mike?
Some of them, yeah.
Adam West? All right.
Yeah.
I used to watch that all the time because it was in syndication, so it would just be on kind of after school on TV. So I watched a lot of that. That's in that no stakes superhero era. There are literally no stakes to that show ever, other than
but it's so fun.
Are they going to get out of this? Come back for the next episode, and then they immediately get out of it. Yeah.
Did they do a lot of multi-episode arcs, or did we usually wrap it up in 22 minutes?
No.
There were actually a lot of multi-episode arcs because it was almost always 2 to 4 episodes with a supervillain. So like Vincent Price would be on as Eggman. And Eggman
now we're
speaks
talking.
entirely in egg puns. Right?
Oh my god! Excellent.
I do want, because Batman especially kind of goes on this pendulum, right? And so they're like, well, Burton was so dark. Schumacher made it goofy again because he was more into the camp of the 60s Adam West. And then Nolan brought it dark again. And then Snyder and Matt Reeves, even though I loved the Matt Reeves, the Batman, are just like, yeah, even darker. And it's like, can't somebody be like, I don't know.
Let's go fun again.
Make it
Let's
goofy,
get goofy
again.
Yeah.
I
would like to see a blue and gray Batman again with a Robin, and it not being like, oh, we're going to have the first 20 minutes are watching Robin's parents slowly die in some sort of contraption, and then it's going to be a child rearing movie from there. Like, give me just like, they're just already hanging out. We know the funny thing about superheroes, like there's so much backstory that I feel like you can just make the leap and start telling something with the characters, and you will still hold on to 70% of the audience. There's very few people who are like, I need the origin to understand this.
And in comic form, so few of these superheroes was the first issue, the origin story, because it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
It's in media res. They've been a superhero for who knows how long. Let's go.
Yeah. You don't care about the origin until you know the character.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
Make that like the third movie.
Yeah. That like, give me a prequel later once I care.
In the MCU Netflix shows, I loved when Jessica Jones and Luke Cage met each other. They're like, how'd you get your thing? Experiment. Yours, accident, and moved on.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she a superhero?
Yeah.
Jessica Jones? Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
But she would say like retired superhero because she was the superhero Jewel, and then was like, well, this is bullshit. I'd prefer leather jackets and whiskey. And stopped being a superhero and became a private detective.
I only watched Jessica Jones, so I don't know anything. I didn't realize
that's
that
not in the show.
Yeah, they
P
never show her
person
as Jewel,
before.
but yeah.
You should check out her comic is called Alias, which is why the show couldn't be called Alias because the TV show was called that.
So who's your favorite superhero?
I have a hard time. This upsets everybody about any category. I have a hard time with favorites. Because it changes. So many things are cool. I mean, Spider-Man's amazing for a reason. Anything, it's the Marvel style is they're a person first and they're a superhero, and people drama is always more interesting. And Spider-Man's, funny and sad and a nerd and weak. But my two best friends throughout both as an adult and as a kid, their favorite Spider-Man, so mine has never been allowed to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, got it.
So, canon, my favorite superhero, what I'm allowed legally, is Captain America, because I think
stupid question. Look at your background.
Yeah, there's a lot of him in the background. He can be so cheesy, right? But I think both Chris Evans' portrayal of him, and then it was Ed Brubaker's run in the comics, which he actually gets shot in it and gets assassinated, and people are like, how can you be the next Captain America? And it really delves into what does it mean. And I think there's so much wrong with this country. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Breaking news.
Listen, enumerate it.
What Steve Rogers does, I think, is he fulfills the promise of all the lies we say the country could be. He actually believes in that, and not in an insane way. And it was, I think, Evan's performance really nailed that character in for me.
Yeah.
Like in an endearing way, So I don't know anything about this. So he believes in the American dream in a way that isn't achievable, and it's not cloyingly sweet.
No, and that's, I think he skates away the cloy, and he's like, I know it actually isn't possible, but God damn it, shouldn't we try?
Okay. Oh yeah, that's great. That's incredible then. Yeah. That's the whole thing about having a dream. You have to fight for it. Okay. That makes sense then. I was like, is he just bumbling around being like, isn't it so great that you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you and you and you?
No, and that
can't.
As a mantle, because so many things are mantles, Sam Wilson, who was the Falcon, became Captain America, and he's like, hey, I can't be Captain America like you can. And there's a lot of discussion. He's like, no, I get you're a black guy. You have a different experience than me, but you can be and need to be. And yeah, I think it's been handled pretty deftly in the comics. Well, it's been okay in this. I liked the movie or the show.
Yeah. They could have. Yeah, they could do more stuff, but that comes down to a not wanting to take chances on storytelling situation.
And being still a giant conglomerate who's not going to say you're allowed to be I mean, it might be harder for black people, but you can't get into the details.
Right. That would require actually dismantling yourself, and that's scary.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a second layer of dismantling yourself, because there's also, boy, we're doing it again. We're getting too political on what should be fun.
That's all you can do now. That's it. There's not other options.
I can't help it. I've been changed by the horrible world. I gotta recapture that American, what's his name? Captain America.
Well, I was going to ask so the Captain America movie came out prior to the Avengers. Is that correct? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, the first one did.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking about, because that was my introduction to Captain America, and I did not like that movie. I watched it 3 times in theaters because I worked at a movie theater, and I watched every movie multiple times. And I had a hard time. I was like, this is fine. And of course, introduced to Iron Man first, and I loved the Edward Norton Hulk prior to the Hulk being introduced in the Avengers. So that was the first of the Marvel movies that I did not super enjoy, and it was an origin story prior to the Avengers. But if I had been introduced to Captain America and the Avengers, I think I would have been happier watching his origin story after that. But it felt like they rushed it to get it out prior to the Avengers so we would know more characters. So I had a hard time with that. But you had brought up starting with an origin story, and I was like, that one was a bummer, and I was upset because I do like Captain America as a character and how he evolved throughout it. But I was upset it started. I had to watch his origin story. Maybe if I had watched it later, I would feel better because I wasn't introduced to him before. But that just ran through for me on that.
I totally get that. I would say go back and watch it, especially Joe Johnston, who directed The Rocketeer in the early 90s, which is a pulp comic, or not comic, a pulp hero from back in the day.
That's a superhero.
Yeah.
And definitely captures that vibe. I think that's a lot of people who didn't like it. It feels very quaint, which is why I liked it. And at that point, Cap was already my guy. The Rocketeer is awesome.
Fair. Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly in it, looking like a snack.
Billy
always
Campbell,
looking like
a
also
snack.
looking like a
Looking like a
snack.
Alan Arkin
Who's
looking
that?
like a snack.
Just a lot of snacks in that movie.
A lot of snacks. It's snack time.
Tiny Ron Taylor. Margot Martindale looking like a snack.
Looking like a snack.
Yeah, I think the
Clint
thing that was
Howard.
interesting about the Captain America movie. So two things. I took a woman on a first date to the Captain America movie,
Oh,
which was one of those transitional moments in my dating life where I realized like, oh, just don't pick the movie you're excited about just because you're excited about it, because that doesn't always work.
Mm.
Because I was like, let's go to a movie. What do you want to see? And then we got there. I was
Didn't
like,
get
oh,
a second
Captain
date?
America. Let's go see Captain America. And she was like, fine. And shortly
wait,
thereafter,
so
I was
you
like, oh,
went
this is
to the
not going
theater?
anywhere. Huh?
You
Yeah.
went to the theater without a game plan.
Yeah.
That's
You were
bananas.
like, we're gonna get there at 8
Happens.
and we're gonna see what happens.
That's so old
That's a-
school.
Yeah.
I love
Probably
it.
get there around 6:30.
I'm just saying that's a very bold move for a date.
Yeah. It's either a bold move or it's just my trademark indecisiveness.
That's fair.
I didn't make a plan. I didn't want to make a plan. And then it was like, Captain America? And she shrugged. And I went, okay, let's go see it. And I had a blast with that movie. But it's sad because it's like, it's a movie where it ends on such a like sad
Yeah.
note that you're I don't know. I always felt like it would have been cool to see Captain America at least one like half movie more in World War
But
II
back in the day.
era.
Yeah.
Like being what he sort of was, because so much of the movie is devoted to his origin. And then
Mhm.
you sort of smash all of these really cool like montages together where now he's not even going to fight. He's just going to be this mascot. And
Right.
we're going to take him around on USO tours. And I thought that was really cool because it's like, here's where his costume came from. The USO people made him like a cheesy looking costume. But yeah, then we
Just
just sort
like
of fling
Pitch
him
Perfect
immediately forward into
3.
time. Yeah, it is like
Yeah.
Pitch Perfect. Is that 2 that they go to the USO?
3.
It's 3?
think.
Okay.
No,
Because
Oh,
two, they go to the
it's
two,
3.
they go
It's
to the
3.
international competition in Germany.
That's
Right.
2, exactly.
Yeah,
Das
3
Sound
I've only
Machine.
watched once. I remember not liking it that much.
No, it's fun. It's better than 2 in my opinion.
Isn't there an explosion? I remember them like jumping
Yes,
off a boat exploding. I was
precisely.
like, oh,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
this.
The yacht that Rebel
No,
Wilson
the
is
whole
on
third
gets
movie
blown
is
up by-
So you'll have
It
to
is,
rewatch
yeah.
that, and I'll rewatch
Okay,
Captain
deal.
America. Well, like Winter Soldier and Civil War are 2 of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So the fact that I didn't like the original, like that made me upset about like that's the only one that like dropped it for me because of the series of
Mhm.
events that happened in that order.
If you like those 2 movies, I do think you should check out Ed Brubaker's run on Captain America. I think it starts with Captain America #1, Ed Brubaker, but it's
Okay.
sick. From like 05 maybe 05, 06.
And these are the comics.
Yes.
Mhm,
Is
mhm.
that an artist, an author?
Ed
Brubaker?
Brubaker is a writer because even though it's
Okay.
an incredibly visual medium, I am bad at remembering artists because I'm a words guy.
Yeah. yeah.
Same. Yeah. For a standard like universe of a hero, of a specific superhero, how many authors do you think there are?
Oh,
Hundreds.
No way to
that's a
know.
Yeah,
loaded
yeah.
question. Yeah.
For like
Mhm.
no, but I mean for like Batman, how many authors do
Yeah.
you think there are in canon? Hundreds?
Yeah, Batman's from 1939 to now.
So
And
people
is-
turn over pretty quick. It's not like this person does it for 30 years and then they
Right.
retire.
No, it's not
Okay,
only do they
okay.
turn over pretty quick, there will be like 5
at the
different
same
Batman
time.
books coming out at the same time by 5 different
Okay.
writers.
I see. Okay. And they're all canon.
Yeah. As
Oh,
much as they
That
can
was
be
a high
canon,
pitched.
Some of
Yeah.
them.
canon is fluid. And
Yeah.
I've
Sure. Yeah.
I think like 20 years ago I stopped caring about canon. I think a good story is a good story. The people who
Yeah.
freak out about canon, I'm like, come on.
Yeah. I respect that. I was just curious, like, how do you weed out if you were like, I want to get started and I want to know like what is the I don't want to choose my own adventure. What is the
Mhm.
order?
Mhm.
Show me the like flow chart that I should follow.
Let's see if fun game. Give me a superhero and I'll throw
Yeah,
out a
yeah.
rack.
Ooh, this is great. Okay.
Let's do the first one. The first superhero.
Phantom?
What was
The
it?
Shadow?
Well,
Shadow.
there's not a lot of Shadow comic books.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
The Alex
All
Baldwin
right.
movie, I guess. I've not read any of the Shadow.
why I was trying to bring it back to the
I
debut
know.
buddies thing. I've learned my lesson.
I'll look it
I can't name a single other one. I don't know. One of you
Batman.
pick.
You just said
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say a good entry point is Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's The Long Halloween.
And how does that play? I mean, Halloween, I'm on board. When did that come out?
Early 2000s, late 90s?
And when did Batman, the
That's right.
character, come into existence?
39.
So that seems like a pretty big gap. We're just
Oh.
skipping.
The thing
Yeah.
is that most of the comic books from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s are going to be kind of one-off things where it's like Batman is like, it's going to be 18 panels of Batman sitting on a rooftop being like, there's a lot of crime in Gotham. I should go down there and fight the crime in Gotham. Oh, look, here's evidence of a thing, right? Like, it's going to be very expositional. Like, the writing doesn't get good
Right.
in the way that we consume storytelling now for a while. So
Okay.
while there is some virtue to reading classic stuff, like I mentioned that I got the like first 10 X-Men in a collection. The first X-Men comic is pretty terrible, and that's because
you got to be into the characters already to want to see where they came from, I think.
Because this is a comic where like it introduces the characters. Stan Lee is telling you everybody's stuff, but the art's not really good. So they're sort of all doing stuff and explaining what they're doing while they're doing it in a like PBS ghostwriter style to make sure everybody knows like, oh, Iceman is creating a snowball with his hand and he's throwing it. And he's going to say that he's doing that. And then there's going to be this gross approximation of a snow person. But it's also, they introduce Jean Grey, who is the first female X-Men, and the entire squad of dudes, so Beast, Cyclops, Angel, and Iceman, are all just like drooling over her. That is the whole first comic.
It always is, right?
And so is Charles, who is decades older than her.
True,
and she's like a 15-year-old in his guidance. Iceman is not, because Iceman is supposed to be a little younger than all the other guys, and he's like, I don't get it. What's the big deal about Marvel Girl? And also, that's why when he came out as gay in the 2000s, they're like, see, it's been hints since the beginning.
Yep.
It wasn't like a Dumbledore thing where later on they were just like, yeah, he was gay.
No.
That's
Well, no,
fine.
it was a Dumbledore. It was a much different. I don't think Stan Lee was like, he's 14. He's not into her.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
well,
doesn't get it.
Good on him.
So, when did comic books start? Because I'm wondering if they had to be that expositional because it was like a new medium and it was like, how do I read this?
Yeah, comic strips were around, I think in the 20s and early 30s, and then towards the mid-late 30s is comic books collected.
So it was like pretty close together. Like, if comic strips are starting in the 20s and we're getting the first like
that one was a
superhero
guess. I don't know when comic strips are around.
When was the printing press?
So there's this guy Gutenberg, right?
And he was like, what if the Bible was a comic?
I think I have.
I had to make a Police Academy joke trying so hard. Can't get there.
Just make sound effects like the sound effects guy
I
from
wish
Police
I could.
Academy.
I don't know how.
Whoop, whoop.
It's end of the 19th century, so 1800.
Okay.
Another good Batman would be like Batman Year One. Like Frank Miller did a lot of things with Batman that became groundbreaking. It's not necessarily the best thing
And
as
a lot of
far as
movies
like
were based on
holding up, but
elements.
yeah. I mean the Pattinson Batman is based largely on
Yeah.
Batman Year One, kind of, even though it's
He's
like
bad at
year
it.
two. Yeah.
Can I tell you something so stupid about the Pattinson Batman? So I am familiar with Robert Pattinson. I'm familiar with Batman. I love Paul Dano.
Great.
And for probably a year, I don't know how long that they were talking about this movie, I was like, it is crazy that they are making two Batman movies at the same time. One with this vampire clown and one with my beloved Paul Dano. And it was literally not until it was in theaters that I was like, oh. Yeah, no, that makes more sense that it's one. Yeah.
Although
Also,
I'm kind of interested in a Paul Dano as
Dano's
Batman. Yeah.
Well, I didn't think he was Batman. I knew that he was a villain in the Batman universe. But yeah, like let's do it like the play Frankenstein, like the stage play Frankenstein. Have them switch.
Yes.
Yeah, have them switch off.
Every movie.
I want the Dano cut. I want the Dano cut. It still seems like too big. Okay.
We're trying to talk about the history of an
an.
entire medium. I think it's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
too
even
big.
what I'm asking. That's not even what I'm worried about. I'm worried about, like, it sounds like for an individual superhero, the story is there isn't a direct path through the story. And as a completionist, I'm like, but then in what order am I supposed to consume it? And so I am less interested in like a specific superhero's arc, as in like, if somebody today is like, I have decided to get into superheroes, how do you approach such a huge oeuvre?
And that's what I've kind of started sort of doing without that direct question is I would say, okay, you know who Captain America is? Read this Captain America run. You get it. You like the character. That'll Batman, I think The Long Halloween it's about early in his career. You're going to meet all of his freaks. Because it takes place in over a year. There's murders that happen over a year, and he keeps running down. You can see him do detective work, which is my favorite Batman. And he's like, "Is it you, Scarecrow? No, it's not you. Is it you, Poison Ivy? No, it's not you."
Zaz, Dr. Zaz.
Yeah,
That's one
I
of
love
them,
Victor
right?
Zaz.
Yeah, I know some stuff.
That's like D tier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say for each team, or I think X-Men is going to be honestly the hardest, but for each team or hero, I think there's a run or a graphic novel you can get into.
So it sounds like you have to know somebody, though. You have to like have an in,
which is part of why
you need an usher.
I know we're not into this in the internet phase of do your own research, figure it out, which you could. I'm sure CBR has a fucking list, but like I think part of it is you find your elder nerd, and they're like, read this, or like for me, comics. So I was into X-Men.
Mother. Like
your nerd
queens?
mother. Yes.
My nerd mother. Yeah.
Back in the day, 7-Eleven and convenience stores would sell comic books on a little spinny rack, right?
Yeah.
And I knew X-Men the cartoon, and then I saw Spider-Man, and it's like number 400 something. And I was just like, I just picked it up. I was so confused. But the art was cool, and that's how my comic journey started.
Yeah. I guess that's exactly how you should get started. Just go into your local comic book store. Be like,
ask them.
What's
like,
dope?
How about you fucking ask them?
Yeah,
okay,
you're right.
Kelly, get off my back.
Well, sorry. I was curious. Well, ask my local comic book store on the podcast next week.
We had a little bookstore in town called Hooked on Books, and I went in there, and they had they had a very limited supply of comics, but I think they carried it because they knew there were teens in the area.
Yeah.
And I would just buy stuff, and then if I liked something, I would go in and be like, can you order like back issues of this? And they would order me whatever they could going back, which was always pretty limited. But yeah, you would end up with like, this is 306 and we can get you back to 298, but they don't have anything before that to sell. And then it's like, okay, cool, will you get the ones after this so that I can come in every week or every month and pick up this when it comes out, and I'll be here. Just make sure you like hold one aside for me so nobody buys it. And that was the way my like childhood was for a period of time, because I was getting, all kinds of stuff, including like I got like Darkwing Duck comics and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers comics that were coming out at the same time. I think the only other thing that I could think of for getting into it is there are these really beautiful like hardcover bound sort of historical, like you can find like Silver Age, Golden Age, and kind of contemporary comics by either Marvel or DC. And if you are interested in just sort of surveying art, learning a little bit about it, and then you'll get sort of tastes of like, these authors were meaningful for this era, and you might check them out. It gives you kind of
it's like Google a Reader's Digest.
So are you saying you want to get into comic books or superheroes specifically?
I'm not saying either of those things. I was being an audience.
Because I was about to make a suggestion for you.
I mean, if I'm going to get into comic books, it's going to be Neil Gaiman.
That's what I was going to say, Sandman, for you to go do.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's on the list. I'll get to it when I build up the strength.
And yeah, otherwise, I mean, you watch the Shadow movie and watch the Phantom movie.
I'm going to listen to the radio show. That's legitimately up my alley. Your girl
it's Orson
loves a radio
Welles
show.
Who's narrator of that.
Well, goddamn, why didn't we open with that? somewhere? Am I gonna have to torrent it?
sure.
Do you still have your friend's dad's number so I can get copies of
I haven't
it?
talked to Kevin in years. Let's see.
Well, get him on the horn.
It's time for the Mouth Garf Report.
The Mouth Guard Report. Open wide.
Ow, ow, ow. Speaking of comics,
So one of the things I discovered while
Garfield.
looking
Gotcha.
for some comics
I'm slow.
was that there is a film that came out in 2009 written by one Jim Davis, and
What?
it is titled Garfield's Pet Force.
oh,
It is an animated film where Garfield,
know?
Odie, Nermal, and other Garfield canonical characters
Mhm.
are
Nermal.
superheroes and supervillains.
Did you watch it?
I did not watch it. It is on
And
my list.
is
It will be happening.
I have a question. Is Garfield a superhero or a villain? Because it could go either way.
Garfield ends up being a sort of bumbling superhero stand-in. So
Okay.
part of the way that this, I guess, works is John is evil. He is Emperor John in this movie. He's trying to
Oh.
invent a molecular scrambler ray gun to lay waste to everything. And
wow.
so-
Okay, so we're not even doing like a fun Garfield thing. It's not
This
like
is also
he's
CGI,
gonna
but like
destroy
not good.
all lasagnas.
Yeah, this is cheap CGI.
Mhm.
But Garfield's superhero counterpart's name is Garzuka.
Oh.
And he's basically
this is-
I sent a photo of Garzuka
that
to the text
was what it
chain,
was. Okay.
to our
I just thought it
company
was
text
fan
chain.
art.
But yeah,
Yeah, same.
here, Mike, you can see in the video there.
Oh, he looks
Garzuka.
amazing.
Yeah,
He looks great.
he's real beefy. And he's boldly mixing fuchsia and green, which is like, I mean, come on. You're confident if that's your costume choice. That's very Mysterio of him to do.
Can I read you a review
Great.
of it from IMDb?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 star.
Great. Okay.
It just says wow, just wow. And then they expand and say, if John Carpenter's The Thing was made as a kid's movie, sold.
Yeah,
that
I
sounds-
am
this
on
actually-
board.
Yeah. I want to watch it more now.
I was like, you mean 10 stars? I think they made a mistake.
They just had the scale wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like they knew
Yeah.
it was an edge and they just clicked the wrong one.
They were like, I got to rank this
Mhm.
movie out of all the movies. It's definitely number 1.
Yo,
Yes,
for sure.
precisely.
Mhm, mhm.
Wow.
So that's the Garf part of the report that I can give you. And yeah, I don't have any good mouth guard news.
I have
I
bad
don't have-
CGI news.
Great.
Oh.
Well, since you
Didn't
brought
know
up
that.
bad CGI, I'm just going to segue into that. I watched a movie called The Dancing Pumpkin because I went to like a. We didn't already talk about this, did we?
No, I
Oh.
don't think so.
Oh, okay. I was like, I've been talking about it a lot. I went to like an antique store, and then there was, there's always like a booth with a bunch of DVDs, and this DVD was selling the plastic, and it looked ridiculous. It is on YouTube if you guys want to watch it. But there are 2 versions because I think the guy who wrote the script made it twice, like 20 years apart. One came out early 2000. The other one came out in like 2017, 2019, maybe.
And is this
But-
just the guy in like the black leotard with a pumpkin on his head dancing
No,
from the CW?
No, it's just really bad CGI, and it is the weirdest movie I have watched in a very long time. And it's one of those movies that you start and you're like, I'm not gonna like this. This is gonna be bad, but you can't stop watching it. You like can't. It won't allow you to. So, yeah, if you have a 58 minutes free and want to watch something that you won't forget it. You won't forget it. There is a very long dancing sequence of pumpkins doing different dances.
Okay.
They do the hula, they do the line dancing, they do
Oh.
a bunch
This-
of different dances.
It sounds like when you're bowling and you
Mhm.
hit the pins.
Oh,
based on the
it's
bad
very
CGI stuff,
similar.
It just sounds like
Very similar. Yeah, it is a perfect movie if I do say so myself. So give it a watch. I only watched the earlier version. It has the exact same plot as the later version, except better CGI. So I'm going to watch that next year. But damn, what a buy. $3 worth 100.
Worth every penny. May I read you a review of this movie.
Please.
First of all, there is exactly one review on IMDb,
Great.
and I think you're going to like it. So, 10 out of 10 stars.
Okay.
The title is Legendary Halloween-themed cult classic. And it goes on to say, best movie to watch at Halloween with all your like-minded friends.
Great. Yeah.
Had to be
What does
very
that
specific
mean?
on that one.
Sure.
Why are we calling out like-minded? Is there...
Well,
What is this? Is this like an indoctrination of some
Because
sort?
the libs won't let
Yeah, I wouldn't
pumpkins
be shocked.
dance
An
anymore.
initiation.
They gotta be lady pumpkins. It's a whole thing.
there is a weird
my
lady
God.
pumpkin now that you bring it up.
Yeah.
If
How
I'm
weird. Are
being
we
real with
talking
you.
Lady Eminem or are we talking Lady Gremlin?
Would Tucker Carlson
high
fuck this
heels,
lady pumpkin?
For sure. Without a doubt in my mind.
Okay.
I would say sexier than the Eminem. And
Whoa.
if I had a weird...
Whoa.
That might be too sexy.
She's wearing high heels. She's got a scarf on, and
And
she's
what's
got
the
like
rating?
fishnets on. It's very weird. If I'm not selling it, you guys.
You are.
Yeah, put it on
right
the
when it
list.
came on the screen, I was like, "Why is this happening?" That happened a
I'm on
lot
board.
while we were watching the movie. Just like, why? What? Why is this happening? So, anyways, the plot great, visuals amazing. Yeah, a witch marries a child, and it is very weird. It's very weird.
Is the witch also a child?
No,
Or is-
absolutely not. Very,
Got it.
very old.
Okay.
Ancient.
And I asked, is that what they mean by like-minded people? People
No.
who are like, finally,
Oh.
our way of life is on the TV screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't portray it in a positive manner. So
Okay.
I hope
Okay.
not, but there are other things. I don't know. It is iffy. It's iffy. There's also like this plot point where if the pumpkin comes alive and talks to the children at night
Frosty.
when the moon comes out. Yeah. And is like, if I
Exactly, yeah.
bite, he's like, monsters come out every Halloween. But if I bite them twice, they shrink down to tiny little sizes. So it's fine. And I was
What
like,
if you only bite them
man,
once? What if you only bite
then
them
nothing. Then nothing,
Oh.
man. You got to bite them
God.
twice. Or wait, you got to bite them once, but an ogre has to be bit twice. I don't know. I got to watch it again.
I feel
But
like
that's
we
my
need to
mouth
watch it
guard
for the
report.
podcast.
Yeah.
I think that's like that. We have to shoehorn that into something. Mike, do you have any mouth guard news?
No, I didn't hear the inception of this segment, but I have been puzzling over it over
What the
several,
subject is.
and I don't get it.
Great.
So
That's
no,
fine.
no mouth guard news in this world. I mean, considering it, I do think I'm grinding, so I might need to get one.
You should
That's
get it.
exactly
You
the
should
get it.
kind
We
of
all
news we're
have one.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see
Yeah.
your teeth real quick.
No,
No.
don't
Oh,
show it.
Don't show me
there
your
it
teeth.
is.
Oh wait, no,
I
you're the
just-
teeth thief. Why did I do that?
I just tried to cover him on my screen like that would help. Yeah, I'm going to the dentist next week. So
Oh.
looking forward to them being like, notice you still haven't gotten those wisdom teeth removed. And I'm going to be like,
Okay.
that's right. I'm just going to cold shoulder them.
Scare them till they walk away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to die with these babies.
All right. That was the mouth guard report.
Wondering what the connection was, or first anything, or no. You know what? I'm gonna live with this mystery, and I like it. Never explained.
Yeah. We're not gonna. I was going to explain the mouth guard report to you, but we're not going to now. That was
I'll
the
just
mouth
text
guard
you
report.
about it frantically later.
Yeah. When you can't
It's like,
sleep
what
at
the
3 in the
hell was
morning
that?
and you're
Why?
having an existential crisis.
And for the listener, go back and listen to the whole back catalog. Thank you. Rate and review,
Yeah,
5
because we
stars.
definitely do say in the first
It does
episode why
evolve.
we're doing it.
We do say the initial
See-
reason we're doing it. What it is now is no
Oh,
longer
no,
that.
yeah.
This might be me being a bad podcast listener, but there's so many. It takes a while for people to get in the groove. I tend to skip the first handful.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
yeah.
same.
There.
That's fair.
Well,
That's
I
fair.
treat it like origin stories. I
Yeah.
Oh.
listen and then I go back.
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
They just talked about insects that entire time. What does that
True.
mean?
Yeah. Because
What
often
does
it's
it
the
mean?
bug garf report instead of the mouth guard report. It's
Mhm.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
get it.
See, this is you know what we're doing.
It's infuriating.
You know what? Speaking of Mike seeing what I am
Infuriating.
doing here and what you're doing here and things that are infuriating, let's play a game. You ready to play a game?
Always.
It's co-op.
It's co-op.
It is. It's a co-op game.
Yeah, we all help each other.
Oh, I was gonna go out for blood.
Oh,
mean,
we are
no,
looking.
I mean,
to
we're
you
very
to be the
sad,
hero.
and it doesn't do well.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
gonna be great.
I think
You're gonna be
I think you're all going to do really great at this because it's time to play. I see what you did there. And yeah, this I see what you did there. It's going to be all superhero stuff. I got superhero related things to throw at you. It's going to be great, especially because you've mentioned some of them. In fact, the first superhero, Mike's canonical first superhero, is involved in one of these questions.
Great.
So isn't that something?
Spoiler.
That's something. So let's start with number 1. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of man?
Oh,
This superhero. And this is a nickname for the once culturally popular and beloved, but outed as vile porn actor Ron Jeremy.
What was his
What?
name? Like the Shadow Anaconda, the Shadow.
Oh,
Shadow.
He has
I don't even have this information in my brain. I just have to.
he has an animal
play.
nickname, but it's not like a sexy animal. It's like
Nate,
an animal
let me
that
stop you
more
right there.
closely
What would
matches
you categorize
his
as a
physique.
sexy animal?
A vixen.
Yeah. You know, a deer, a really hot lady deer, maybe a bunny
Okay.
playing basketball. You know, sexy
Shadow.
animals.
Bunny playing
Hippopotamus.
basketball. Yeah, for sure. Okay. I stand corrected. I would go Robin Hood the fox.
Yeah. Robin Hood the Fox,
Okay.
absolutely. Great episode of Movie of the Year about Robin
Thank
Hood the
you.
Fox. Yeah. Talking about that
Whoa.
1973 season they've been doing. I was on one of those.
You were on a wonderful episode about mean streets.
That's right.
no.
Shadow hippopotamus, shadow.
This is also an animal that is associated with going fast.
It's got to be well endowed, right? You said.
Going fast.
It doesn't have to be well endowed. The
Shadow
animal.
roadrunner.
What are
Shadow iota.
Shed.
What a
Shed-
fast-
What are-
Think about an animal that maybe has to go
Cheetah?
fast. Like that's literally it's got to.
What?
Okay.
What?
Shadow finger monkey.
Shadow
Finger
Monkey.
That's you
Shadow
got
the
it.
Hedgehog.
Shadow the
Ooh.
Hedgehog. You see what I
Wow.
did there? Yeah. Ron Jeremy's nickname was the Hedgehog
Gross.
because he is a
Gross.
short, rotund man covered with fur.
Huh.
And I'm sure there's a hog pun in there. That's what they're going for, right?
You got a hog.
got
There
a
it is.
hog,
I
'cause
knew it had to do
Gross.
something.
It's a wiener thing.
It's always
Is
about
it-
the dingling.
It's always about the
With these
dingling.
porn actors.
It's
Mm.
true. It's like there's nothing other interesting about them. And then Shadow. There you go. There's Shadow the Hedgehog is a character from the Sonic the Hedgehog canon.
Hat.
He,
That's what I was
Has to
missing.
go
Got
right.
it.
He's all black with red highlights and he carries a gun.
Whoa.
In the
Whoa.
video game Shadow the Hedgehog, he shoots
Hmm.
people with a handgun.
That's
Well, the more you know.
Oh no.
Yeah.
so much less goofy than Sonic and Knuckles.
Yep. Shadow has emotional problems.
Boy.
And the
Okay.
constitutionally appropriated rights to resolve them. So great
We
job.
did it again.
You see what I did there? Number two, this one's going to be more interesting because we've touched on one of the superheroes involved here, but not the rest. And one's technically an
Really?
anti-hero. It's in the question. Number 2, name the flapping anti-hero identity of Dr. Kirk Langstrom, the unflappable greatest detective identity of Bruce Wayne, and Population City's lame video store working superhero with no powers at all.
Okay, so it's Man Batman.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because it's Man Bat.
Man, Batman, Bat.
and then
No.
Bat. No, it's Man Bat and then Batman. So it's Man Batman, right?
Huh? Man
I don't know
Batman.
what
Repeat the last
population-
part.
Yeah,
Continue what's happening.
Oh, Man Batman,
Um,
Batman. Man Batman, Man Bat. Man Batman.
Man, Batman, Bat.
Think about if we had
Am
a
I
Man,
having
Bat-
a stroke
Man, Batman,
right
Man?
Yes, everyone is. Everyone is. If you had a superhero with no powers,
Okay.
What might his name be?
Batman.
Man.
Batman.
Man,
Oh.
Batman, man.
Man, Batman, man. Yeah.
Okay.
See what I did
Crushed
there?
it.
So
I don't, but then you did it. You
Man
did it.
Bat. Man Bat is the scientist Kirk Langstrom who turns himself into an actual bat. He becomes an anti-hero of Batman, a villain, but he's also kind of tortured, so he's complicated. Then you got Batman, the actual Batman, and then there's a movie from 2009 called Man Man that is about a guy who works in a video store, and his only superpower is that he got an average SAT score, and he just fucks everything up. His name is Man Man. So
Wait, and he's that's just
How super? How
that feels
super?
just too
because
close to home.
he takes on the identity of man. He's actually a superhero precisely by Mike's rubric. We didn't discuss this at all, but he is a mediocre person who takes on an alternate identity as Man Man, and he goes and tries to solve crime, even though he fails at it the whole time that he's doing it. But he's Man.
And this is a movie?
Yeah, it's a short. It's like a short film. I think it's like 48 minutes or something. Man Man, and he lives in Population City.
Well, that's
Oh,
a
of
good place
course.
to live, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you would have seen what I did there if any of those references were references at all, but they're not.
They
Man,
were,
Nate,
but
here's
we
what I'm
just
saying.
didn't.
I think it's
You
time to go back
tried,
into the
we
mouth
tried,
craft report.
Everyone tried.
I also feel like sometimes this game should be called You Would Have Seen What I Did There.
Yeah.
Mm.
You could have seen what I did there.
Sometimes I think this
Kinda
game
saw
should
it.
be called Maybe We Shouldn't Do This at All.
Dear God, does
No.
anybody anywhere see what I did here? I feel so alone. The Nate Regolia story.
There it is. Yeah. This is maybe this is my screaming into the void. This might be my only therapy that I get ever is just doing this stupid game.
Okay, then let's reframe it.
Yeah. Great.
It's just my therapy joke.
Number 3 is actually going to work though. Number 3 is one that you can get. When Jean Grey dies, she's reborn as this eventually evil, uncontrollable force. And it's a misconception that this state's name originated from a Spanish term describing its dry climate.
Dark Phoenix, Arizona?
You see what I did there?
Wow.
Dark Phoenix, Arizona. Well done.
I know cities in Arizona.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. All
I
right.
don't.
We're doing it.
Phoenix is kind of an uncontrollable evil. Arizona.
Harry Lake? She's there. That's bad news.
Gray. Oh, and Jean Grey. Ha!
Hey!
I see what I did.
Is that the
there.
next
You did it. You did it there. Okay, number four. This brutal costumed watchman roams New York while muttering his right-wing views behind a lava lamp on a mask. And he's much shorter than this 300-pound blue chip who used to break backboards during dunks.
No.
Oh, I don't know basketball. It's Rorschach.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh!
Shaquille O'Neal. You see what I did there?
Hell
Very
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's a good Halloween costume.
Very good.
That's an incredible Halloween costume. Oh, wait. No, but isn't Rorschach dingling out?
No.
Isn't one of the Watchmen characters just Wiener out?
That's
Dr.
blue.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Dr. Manhattan. Yeah.
And is that Watchmen?
Yeah.
Well, it is Watchmen.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
When I watched that movie in
Well-
the theaters, I watched it with my brother, and then there was a guy like 3 rows behind us. And the only thing we remember from that day is the guy just like laughing and be like, huh, penis man. And then that's how I like refer to that movie every time with my brother. He's like, what movie was that? And I was like, huh, penis man.
That also Zack Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just one more, number 5. This Sarah McLachlan song from 1997's Surfacing invokes Jesus, vampires, ghosts, and God in its lyrics. And this was a 1999 superhero ensemble film starring Ben Stiller, Paul Rubens, William H. Macy, Hank Azaria, and Janine Garofalo.
Is it a Mystery Man? Wait,
Yeah,
is it?
that's the movie.
Mystery Men is the movie, yeah.
Like Life is a Mystery Man.
Is it Life is a Mystery?
I don't know. The only Sarah McLachlan song I know is Angel.
Mystery. I can hear the
Yeah.
bumble.
Yeah.
Mystery.
Yeah, you got the right song. You just need the title of it.
Mm-hmm.
While you're thinking, I forgot Janine Garofalo was in a superhero movie. So earlier when I said I have no interest, I was wrong.
Great, we're back. We got Kelly back.
Bit of interest.
If
I
I,
don't know.
cheated, can I finish this?
Mystery.
Yes.
Yeah, you can
Building-
finish it.
Building a
Building?
mystery man.
Yeah, would
Yeah,
never
building a
have gotten that.
mystery
Building a
man.
mystery
Yeah,
man.
you see what I did there
Okay.
by
Mhm.
And
by
she's
looking it
talking
up.
about zombies, etc.
Does she talk about zombies and Jesus?
What did you
Are
say?
most
Well,
of her
Jesus
songs
is
about
a zombie.
Jesus?
Yeah, mhm.
That's
Jesus,
fair.
vampires, ghosts, and God.
All the evils of the
Is
world.
God a vampire? Ooh, that would
Uh,
be a lovely song.
Guys, what if God was one of us?
What if,
What if God was a vampire?
that's a much more interesting question. I guess we don't know that he wasn't.
He could. For
I
sure.
mean, look at the
He's
amount
into
of
blood.
blood that has
That's
been let.
true.
Yeah, there's
And
a lot of
he's
blood that's
making
been let in
us
his name.
drink it.
True.
That
Ooh.
bitch, respectfully.
He's
a
like,
vampire.
"This is
Actually,
wine. Don't
not
worry about it."
respectfully.
Creepy stuff. All right, you saw what I did there. That was a lot of fun. Everybody loves this
That was
segment.
fun.
Let's
Yeah, it was
talk
fun.
about. Let's give the first superhero, the Shadow, who we talked about at great length.
Ooh,
Let's
good.
let's give that superhero some devs. What do we think of a superhero who's let's run down the Shadow's power set real quick, just for shits and gigs. He's able to kind of do mind control stuff. He basically does Jedi mind
Oh.
tricks. He can kind of tell people things and convince them.
Yeah,
He's sort
like
of pseudo hypnotic.
light hypnosis and telekinesis, right? He
Okay.
can sort of change his face. Sometimes he's just a dude with guns, and sometimes he has like
Okay.
light versions of these powers.
Wait, when
Mhm.
he changes his face, is it like a glamour, or is
Oh,
he
good question. Okay.
Glamour.
like projecting it into people's minds? Okay, it's like a glamour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he also
important
is
for Deb
sort
rating.
of capable of like actually taking the form of a shadow sort of as a camouflage thing, but he doesn't actually like disappear. He doesn't become non-corporeal. He just sort of melts into shadow.
Yeah, when he disappears, his shadow then never disappears. It's very weird.
Oh.
He's got a
Okay,
tag. It's
okay.
basically what it is.
Hmm.
He's got a real reverse Peter Pan problem, you know? Shadow doesn't want to get out of there. Get out of there, Shadow.
Well, that just sounds like a big glamour. He still has mass. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's his set. Now the Phantom also just pretty much has guns. He's got that ring.
Yeah,
Hmm.
got
He's
the
pretty
sweet
beefy.
ring.
He looks good in purple spandex,
Bright
I
purple,
guess.
domino mask.
He's portrayed by Billy
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Billy Zane.
Yeah.
Billy the bad
We
guy
have
in
found
Titanic
another entry point.
Yeah. I've also seen that movie, and I also saw that movie in the theater.
Taking an unwilling girlfriend to that as well.
No, there was absolutely no girlfriends at the time when Shadow or Phantom came out. Just tragic nerddom.
No.
But I think
own it.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is also in that.
Also in that. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let's just defer immediately to our guest.
Yeah.
How many Debs?
What is
Skillful.
happening? 17. I don't know
Well,
what
is that
any
a-
of this
We
means.
did actually change the scale.
1 to
so
5.
good job.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, run down
1
the
through
Debs,
5,
run down the
1 through
Debs.
5. Is the Shadow a good superhero or not?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'd say I'll give him a 4.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Great. And let's just
And
up the ante, and because we always kind of rate the episode too. What do you think? What would you rate this episode that you've been on?
Based on, I think it's rare that a guest should be this confused. I'm going to say a 2.
Great.
That's
Okay,
fair.
good.
Acceptable. Acceptable.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm going to be honest, I've had to pee this is hours longer than I
That
thought it was
happens
going
I
to
know.
be.
Yeah. Mhm, mhm.
Okay, quick, let's do our ratings.
Yeah.
Ditto 4. Gonna listen to the radio show.
Great. Yeah.
Mine was going to be a 5 because of the superheroes that brought after it, but it was a 4 because of the Baldwin. Carry on.
I'm gonna give it a 4. It was an interesting moment where Alec Baldwin was trying to be Batman after Michael Keaton left, and that's why he took this movie. So he was like, "I'll show that I can be a superhero," and then he never got another
No.
superhero job, and they immediately gave it to Val Kilmer. So yeah, 4.
But there's
It's
nothing
a-
wrong with that.
It's kind of a fun movie too, and it's an interesting character. Like, wouldn't we all like to be able to laugh from the rafters, a la Phantom of the Opera, but have actual kind of pseudo superpowers? That's kind of neat. Right?
Too much responsibility.
It's kind of
Yeah.
neat.
That's 4.25
If-
There
average.
it is.
If you want to jump in, I'd say the Dynamite modern comics look like this. I haven't done it yet, but that looks like a good jumping off point. They started around
Oh.
2012.
For our next episode, we're going to be talking about the first dog in space. So get ready to woof where you cry and cry where you woof. It's going to be rough stuff.
I cry
Rough.
everywhere. So
No bones about it.
Rough.
If you like this podcast, and there's absolutely no reason you should subscribe, rate, review us. Go to Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, leave us a review. Tell us what you like about superheroes. How do you relate to superheroes? What do they mean to you? Should we have Mike back on to torture him further or not?
I deserve it.
You can email us, debutbuddies@gmail.com. Give us ideas for other episodes. Talk to us. We'll read listener mail, whatever.
And if you miss me and Chelsea in between episodes of Debut Buddies, you can find us over on Never Show the Monster, a podcast about horror movies. Over to you, Mike.
Oh, yeah. I'm on the Superhero Show every week. We cover every single live action TV show based on comic books and a bunch of the animated ones. Also on Movie of the Year. Right now we are going, as Nate said, through 1973 to find the best movie of that year. The Exorcist just came out. Enter the Dragon is coming up. American Graffiti's coming up later this season. A bunch of fun stuff. And Nate, if you love Nate, check out Mean Girls. No, that's not right. Mean
You
Streets.
can also check that out just
to Mean
for
Girls.
me. Yeah. Now, Mike, would you say that podcast has science and screaming in equal measure?
It does have equal measure science and screaming.
Excellent. If you like the music on this show, check out Michael J. O'Connor. Go to michaeljoconnor.bandcamp.com. We will be back to you talking dogs in space. And until then, yo-ha.
Yoha.
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 Bye, buddies.
Bye.
What does Yoha mean?
It's the Hoy back.
Ahoy.
First is best, or first is worst.